5. And the Lord spake to Moses in the plains of Moab by the Jordan, across from Jericho, saying, command the children of Israel. They give the Levites cities to dwell, and from the inheritance of their possessions. You shall also give the Levites common land around the cities. 3.
They shall have the cities to dwell in, and their common land shall be for their cattle, for their herds, and for their animals. The common land of the city will give the
Levites.
shall extend from the wall of the city outward and thousands of cubits all around.
5. Cameron.
And you shall measure outside the city on the east side 2,000 cubits, and on the south side 2,000 cubits, and on the west side 2,000 cubits, and on the north side 2,000 cubits. The city being in the middle. The city, or this shall belong to them as pasture land for their cities. The cities that you give to the Levites shall be the 6 cities of refuge, where you shall permit the manslayer to flee, and in addition to them you shall give 42 cities.
So who's giving the cities out?
Moses.
Who's giving the cities out?
Is it Moses?
Who's giving the cities out? The Levites. So God is giving them those cities. Of those cities, they're to give of the Levites 48 of them, right? Of the 48, 6 of them are to become city of refuge. So you got to see that. Because as we go further on, you're going to see the Levites too have to give out. So in verse 6 it even says, verse 6 says what?
The cities that you give,
Go ahead.
the cities that you give to the Levites shall be the 6 cities of refuge, where you shall permit the manslayer to flee, and in addition to them you shall give 42 cities.
So we got 48 cities that the Levites had to give out. Remember, he's giving them already the cities. Now, they have to be fair and give the Levites their 48 cities. So you got to see that. So then 7 says what, Calvin?
So all the cities you will give to the Levites shall be 48. These you shall give with their common land. And the cities which you will give shall be from the possession of the children of Israel from the larger tribe, and shall give many from the smaller, you shall give few. Each shall give some of its cities to the Levites in proportion to the inheritance that each receives. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, when you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan,
Then 11, 1, 11, 10.
Then you shall select for yourselves cities to be your cities of refuge, that the manslayer who has killed any person unintentionally may flee there. The city shall be to you as a refuge from the avenger, so that the manslayer will not die until he stands before the congregation for trial.
Okay.
And of these cities which you shall give, 6 cities shall you have for refuge. You shall give 3 cities on this side of Jordan, and 3 cities shall you give in the land of Canaan, which shall be the cities of refuge.
So these cities wouldn't be far. Because remember, they don't have a car to go get into these cities. Remember that the only transportation that they have would be what?
Boat or horse,
How about something else?
donkey.
How about something else?
Camels.
How about something else? Feet. Yeah, what? That's right. How about something else? Remember, you're not talking about wealthy people. You're talking about people, hey, that are making it. And so some of these people, when this event happens, a lot of times it may be somebody that's poor. And so would I dare take something that I can use? We don't see it because you're not in the country. But would I take something that can be used to help harvest the land? Something that you Lenny would know something about. Would I dare remove something out of that city that my kinfolks could use, but I'm running because I can't run back to that city. So that whatever I took is to remain with me. So then what would probably remain with me would be what I've taken on my feet. Now remember, they didn't need luggage like Vivian needed. Okay? Okay. No, they would need, yes, pretty much what they have on their backs. And they're satisfied with that. They ain't packing no luggage like we would do. And yet, their departure may be years. Not a week, years. So let's go on.
These 6 cities shall be a refuge both for the children of Israel and for the stranger and for the sojourner among them, that everyone that kills any person unaware may flee there.
And now the cities were designed for who? For refuge. What is refuge?
Fleeing.
Well, we know it's flee, but it's designed for who?
Oh, for those that
Who? Yeah, for anybody
that unintentionally kills someone.
Accidentally kills somebody. Not anybody that kills somebody.
Right.
But anybody that accidentally kills somebody. That's what they were designed for. They weren't designed because you killed somebody, you were mad. So you killed somebody, so I run there. No. Because I think it was Tiffany that had read earlier that when they get to those cities, they were to remain there until, it's verse 12. See it in verse 12?
Until judgment.
See that? Until judgment. See that? So you had to see that. So that's what those cities were for. But now we're going to travel some more. Okay, so where we at?
16.
16.
But if he struck him down with an iron object so that he died, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. If he struck him down with a stone in the hand, by which he will die, and as a result he died, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Or if he struck him with a wooden object in the hand, by which he might die, and as a result he died, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death.
And 19 says, let's go back around. 19 says,
The avenger of blood himself shall put the murderer to death. When he meets him, he shall put him to death.
so then watch this. What would be, if we look at the text, it gave us every object that you would use to kill someone. It's one object. You know how you search for a loophole? You hear me? You know how you would search for, what would be the loophole that you would search for? If I use an object to kill him with, what would be my loophole that I could get by with? Well, we know accident. Well, that's if it's accident. But what would I use to kill somebody? What do you say?
Self-defense.
Like you said, what do you say?
Fist?
Yeah, my hands. So someone would say, then we've gotten by with it because I didn't use any of those. I used my hands. Well, let's read a little bit more. The Lord thought this all out. So then, here we go. He says in verse 20. Verse 20 says what?
And if he pushed him out of hatred or hurled something at him, lying in wait so that he died, or an enmity struck him down with his hand so that he died, then he who struck the blow shall be put to death. He is a murderer.
So then watch this. Look at the identity. I want you to look at 21. And look what he calls him still. And 21, you see, read it again, Cameron. He says what?
For an enmity struck him down with his hand.
Or an enmity. What is an enmity? A what?
Enemy.
An enemy. That's what it said here. So here's the idea. Back in your 20, you didn't push somebody that you like. You pushed somebody that you didn't like. He's your enemy. In verse 20, we're in 35:20. So that was who you pushed. Then your 21 made the statement, or you struck him with his hand so that he died. So then you hit him hard enough that you actually killed someone, and that can happen. You hit somebody the right, what is it? A boxer cannot, if he hits you, he can serve some serious time. Some serious time. Anyone with have a profession. Tiffany Jamal. Jamal is learning that martial arts, right? If he hits somebody,
Yeah, he's a black belt now.
right, he could lose everything he owns. Because really, his hands need to be registered. So that's first of all, his hands need to be registered.
Weapons now.
Because they're weapons, but they're weapons now. So if something he got into a scuffle with someone, he would know the pressure points where to hit somebody, where you could take them out. See what I'm saying? He would actually know the pressure points. So with a boxer, I don't know about you all, but I watch Friday Night Boxing, or when boxing comes on, I got my TV on. And someone would say, so why do you watch boxing? Because it is an art. It's an art to see somebody, that boxer, you think he's just swinging.
Yeah, that makes
That
sense.
boxer's not swinging.
It's used.
That boxer knows exactly where to hit the guy. So he's trained to hit him in his rib cage, and not even the rib cage. He's trained to hit his kidneys. See what I'm saying? He knows where his kidneys are. He's trained to hit kidneys. He wants him to stop and to bend over. Then he's trained to find to hit him in his temple or to hit him up under it. He's trained to do this so that you say, wow, he got hit, and the guy's actually wobbling everywhere. That's why when you see in boxing, what do you see? You see them racing to go get that guy when he goes down. Or you see the referee when blows are being thrown and the guy doesn't respond. You see the referee come in immediately and step in front of him. And you say, but why'd you do that? Because a lot of them get upset. You know, why'd you do that? I said, no, you didn't. You were already out of control. It was just a matter of the right punch. Not hitting you, but killing you. Just the right one. And so many of the boxers of the old, I'm trying to remember, of the old, that actually killed somebody in the ring. Can you imagine how you
A
feel?
young guy that just died.
Yes, can you
A young
imagine?
boxer just died recently that was in the ring.
Yeah, I couldn't think of his
I
name,
know.
but you're right.
Yeah.
I know, it was in Argentina.
Okay.
On the song.
Yeah, and he just died. That's why I said, so you don't know. And then a lot of times you don't realize it. I know you all remember Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
I know you remember him.
Yeah.
And someone said, well, I forgot what they called him. The bottom line is he was punch drunk. He was hit so many times that you saw the after effects when he stopped boxing, but you saw the after effects. It's no joke. Your brain is not designed to move. And when you hitting, swinging, you trying to knock that joker, you're trying to win a fight. So in trying to win the fight, you're hitting and you're hitting to hurt this person. So anytime, that's why you see boxers not only sharp in their boxing career, but then afterwards they can't function well. Now, one guy that's functioning pretty good and had enough sense to get out of the ring was Mayweather. Remember? And had sense enough to get out of the ring in time, so he's gotten out. But remember, Mayweather was a defensive boxer. It was hard to hit him. So he dodged a lot of blows, but yet he kept winning. And a lot of folks say, well, you know, he ain't all that. You try to hit him. You couldn't hit him. That's the frustration part about it. You couldn't hit him. So now, you know, you throwing wildly because you want to hurt him, and then Mayweather come back and pop you. See what I'm saying? Then he come back and pop you. And why? Because he knows now you're frustrated. But we're talking about, that's why when you see this, them making huge checks out of one fight, you just hope they can spend it. You know what I mean? You just hope they can spend it. And the reason why I said that, because here we are in 20 and 21, and we've got to understand the seriousness of when you hit someone, how you don't realize that you can actually kill someone. I remember when I was in high school, the biggest scare of my life, as when this dude was bothering me, and I yanked him up, and then threw him. And when I threw him, he hit the balcony and went over. The biggest, you hear me? The biggest scare. And he was down there. So the biggest, you hear me? The biggest scare of my life. Because he could have died. Oh, he's knocked out. But because he's sitting there, he's down there, he's unconscious. So, you know, now you're thinking about what you've done, and thank God that the coaches come in and put smelling sauce and, you know, he come back. But you see what I'm saying? He's the one, because he's called the police and said, hey, you see what I'm saying? And they take me on in. But it's a scary, if you've not done it, it's a scary sight to see somebody get knocked out cold and just drop. And you're like, wow, it's a scary sight. But in this case,
so enmity is like hostility.
yes,
Right.
it's exactly what it is. You're angry with somebody. You're out to take them out. So then watch this. Let's travel some more. 22 says what?
However, if he pushes him suddenly without enmity, or throws anything at him without lying in wait, or uses a stone by which a man could die, throwing it at him without seeing him, so that he dies, while he was not his enemy or seeking his harm, then the congregation shall judge between the manslayer and the avenger of blood according to these judgments.
So remember, this person still dies. You didn't do it intentionally. You're trying to tell the one that was hurt, you're trying to tell, but I didn't mean to. I really didn't mean to. Now, this is where judgment has to come in. Now,
That would be like these people who are now going around sucker punching people.
yes.
You know, they just find anybody to walk up to them.
You remember that thing going out? Remember when people just walking up and knocking you out? Yeah, so you're right. Now, if anybody died, then remember, their punishment is not 5-10 years in prison. The punishment is death. You got to see this. That's why I said I wanted you to see this. And it's amazing, Calvert, in your reading, that he mentions everything that he didn't mention prior. But now he's talking about accidental. You see what I'm saying? But he mentions everything that you just mentioned prior, and now he's saying you accidentally pushed somebody and they fell over the edge. You accidentally picked up something and it flew and it hit them in the head and killed them. You know what I'm saying? You was throwing a stone, and maybe that stone that you was throwing at, you was throwing to go chasing. You was throwing to hit a bear or hit something, but it actually hit somebody and they died. So now he's saying, you need to understand, look what he does not call them. When it accidentally happens, Joel 24 said what, Calvin?
Then the congregation shall judge between the manslayer and the avenger of blood.
So now the congregation's got to come. But remember, who is the avenger? Remember that.
Family.
Family. Family is the avenger. You got to think on that. Because now, does a family think straight when you didn't kill somebody that they love? You see what I'm saying? So,
I have revenger, that means the same.
same, So then if this is the case, then what would need to take place? That family can't judge properly. So he says congregation, didn't he say it?
Yes.
Then he said the congregation. So what's the congregation? That's the next concern. What's the congregation? How many tribes are there?
12.
How many tribes are there?
No.
9
and a half.
9 So then, stop and think about it. You say, well, the congregation, so that's all 9.5, so that's millions of people come in to judge. That's where I'm at. So then, what is the congregation that he's talking about?
I don't think the chief priests.
Would it be
The
the
leaders.
Well, we got the leaders, but what he says congregation, the leader can be one. Congregation, that has to be many.
But the people in the city,
Close.
It's not the leaders of each tribe?
No, not that, but you're close. But you're close. You're right, but you're close. I just said, what is a revenger? Family. So then, that family comes out of what? A tribe, whatever tribe it's in. So then, what congregation then would judge you? The tribe. The tribe of that family would judge. Not all the tribes, not all 9.5 of them, just them. But you got to get fair judgment. Yes.
Yeah, but that goes back to family again.
Well, but that's good. But that tribe is, remember, that tribe is big. This, what they're talking about is big. We're talking about thousands of people. We ain't talking about just family of 20. No, we're talking about the congregation. So now it's coming in, like we would say in church, that's congregation. So then everybody's sitting in there. You rest assured, not everybody in there thinks, I'm listening to what happened. I'm sorry for your loss, but he didn't do it on purpose. You see what I'm saying, Karen? But come on, guys, in reality, the guy really didn't. He didn't do it on purpose. I know you're angry, Tiffany, but he didn't do it on purpose. You see what I'm saying? He really didn't. As we listen to this, we find out that this was accidental. This really was accidental when this person, but I know he died. But that axe flew off the handle. He didn't intentionally throw that axe head at him. That axe head came out, just hit him in the head, took him out. Yeah, I know you didn't realize it when you were by that cliff and something flew past you that scared you to death, an animal, and so you moved and the other person fell off the cliff. You didn't intentionally kill that person. Well, no one to reason yet. No, but you intentionally killed him. Yeah.
I have a story that I just heard today that was sort of shocking. It comes right here. And maybe you all heard it too. In a cruise in Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, or somewhere like that, a grandfather was holding his granddaughter actually, and he didn't see that the window was open. She fell and died.
I heard about it.
You heard about it?
Yeah, sure did.
And he's in prison, right? And
Wow.
the mother of the child
Actually happened a
is
couple
like
months ago.
fighting for the grandfather.
Okay.
Family is fighting for the grandfather, not to go rid of it. This is an accident. I mean,
Just
the
one of those
grandfather was
things.
killed. And he just can't believe it. Right?
And now the parents would be going crazy.
It
You see what I'm saying? They know he did it on purpose when
No.
No, I didn't do it. It's just one of those things. Huh?
Careless.
Yeah, you got it. So watch this. It says the congregation. It doesn't say, all we know is when the congregation is going to do what? They either allow him to live or they allow him to die. Watch this. 25. Let's travel. 25 says what?
The congregation shall deliver the manslayer from the hand of the blood avenger, and the congregation shall restore him to his city of refuge, to which he fled, and he shall live in it until the death of the high priest who was anointed with the holy oil.
So watch this. You still lose him or her. You still lose them because they got to go stay now in the city of refuge. So you still lose them. So then now that person who had to come back, because remember, he couldn't come back. He had to hurry up and get out of there and go to that city of refuge. His coming back was for the congregation to place judgment. Now that the congregation has declared him innocent, is he really innocent? Because now you got to go live somewhere for the rest of your life away from your family. Let me try this. This is what's wrong with the church today. If the church was united like she used to be back then, believe me, to walk away or to have someone remove you from the church, it tear your heart. It just tear your heart apart. I says, when you get a chance, I think it's John the 4th chapter, no, John the 5th chapter, I think when you see the story, the man that was what? Remember? He was paralyzed, he was blind. And remember the priest went and says, remember that? When they went to him, and he says, they went to the parents and said, we want to know, was he blind? And what did they say?
Yes.
He's old enough.
He said, talk to him.
He's old enough to speak for himself. Why don't you go and ask him? Why would you make that statement? Because what the priests were going to do was what? Kick you out of the synagogue. There's going to disfellowship you. So you don't want to be disfellowshipped. So what did you do? So that you wouldn't be in the midst of that mess. You said he's of age. Go. Ask him how it took place. So in other words, what they did was they did a bailout. But it wasn't nothing wrong because they're right. Go ask him. He's of age. This is what I'm saying with the church. In your 1 Corinthians, your 5th chapter. Remember the man was with his father's wife? Remember that? And remember Paul was highly upset. Remember Paul said, he told the church you ought to be ashamed of themselves. And he said you should do what? Disfellowship him. I don't care how supportive and what he does and how good he does it. Kick him out of the church. Get him out of here. And what did they do? Believe me. And the man was of prestige. That's what people keep missing. The one that was kicked out of that church was somebody that had clout, that really was of value. But Paul said you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Holding him because he's a great preacher. Holding him because he's a great giver. Holding him. No. Kick him out.
Sin doesn't go.
Right. Get the sin out of the account. They didn't see that because of his prestige. But he's got to go. And they removed him. Now you find out later on in the chapter that Paul finally welcomes him back. But here's the question. I have now been removed out of the synagogue. The synagogue, it's not like the synagogue here. The synagogue, if we were to start to turn the synagogue into the synagogue that it should be turned into, then we'd understand. If I said, Calvary, we no longer want you here, and the synagogue was like it really was, It's a social outing, too. It wasn't just you come in and Sunday morning, give your praise, and then leave. It was actually a social outing, something if we can ever stop fussing at one another and get it back to where it should be, a synagogue, where you really miss one another. You know, what's going on? Well, we got a movie night. Well, what's going on? Well, they got something else going on. They got barbecue to go down there. Well, what's going on? Well, this is why we hang out on Fridays. If you turn it into like it really is supposed to be, where it becomes an outing, then when somebody says, brother, we're asking you to let go, and you say, you know what, let for you all, and you leave, remember, that would be a letter that needs to immediately go out to the other churches. Immediately go out to the other churches. That change away.
No, they took care of family because they even had schools for kids.
And that's that's how big it was. And that's how powerful it was then. So what in the world has happened? The church has gotten so relaxed, so unsociable, that you come here strictly for Bible study or strictly for worship. And then if something happens and you need to be disfellowshipped, you say, okay, I'll go with England. Okay, I'll go to Norman. Okay, I'll go to bigger room. And you walk right in, sit there and be just as nice and friendly and kind, and they don't know what's going on with you, what has caused you, and reason being is because we've stopped doing what God has had us to do. When someone leaves the church for wrong reasons, there needs to be a letter that's sent out throughout the brotherhood. Why is that letter sent out? That letter is supposed to have an effect. The effect it was supposed to have was when you came up. When I came up to the church, and Calvert's one of the leaders, when I came up to the church, Calvert was supposed to say to me, Brother Thompson, if you don't mind, can we go to the back? I need to talk to you for a second or two. And watch this. And he doesn't need somebody else with him. All he needs to do is open up the letter and say, are you aware of this letter that's been sent out about you? Are you aware of it? Here, let me make a copy of it so you will have it. Because why? What are you going to do? Deny it. That's what you're going to do. You're going to deny it. Well, no, brother, see, young people that, no. Watch this. That's why I said someone, a leader that has wisdom, says, I expect you to say no. I expect you to deny it. But brother, until you get that straight, you got to go back home. I'd love to have you, but you've got to go back home. Because you need to make your worship right. Matthew the 5th chapter. You really need to get your worship back lined up with, watch this, with your brothers that you had a fault with, or your brothers that you did wrong to. You need to go back and get some repentance out of that. If we were to do that, which we won't, because this is what's happening with the church. I'll just go to the next church. But if the church was to do what we're supposed to do, this would have an impact on the church. Believe me, you stop. You think before you do something stupid to be removed from a social setting. You would stop that. I said that because watch this. Because here's this man, he's got to go where? To the city of refuge. For how long? And that's something, or until that priest dies. Well, you better not be a young priest. You know what I'm saying? Or you're there. Now watch this. 26 says what?
The priest died and he can go wherever he want to go.
Once the priest dies, then yes, he can go. Now he's been forgiven, where he can now come back into the congregation. But Watch 26. 26 says what?
But if the slayer shall at any time come without the border of the city of his refuge, whether he was fled,
Keep going.
and the revenger of blood bind him without the borders of the city of his refuge, and the revenger of blood kill the slayer, he shall not be guilty of blood.
And who's the avenger or revenger, or however y'all say it? Who is he?
Family.
A family. So, accidentally killed somebody. What is God showing here? He's showing grace on one side. Got to see it. He's showing grace because he gave you a place to go. You're showing what? Disobedience on the other side. Because you're disobedient, not only you just snuck back in the city just to get something, and then gonna run back out and somebody bust you upside the head and kill you. But not only were you disobedient, but you also died. But that family member was not a murderer. Huh? And look at the text. But that family member is, that's why I said, we need to identify what is murder. That's our issue. What is considered murder? Because God is showing you 2 times where that is not considered murder. I accidentally killed somebody, and then I intentionally killed somebody. Did you all catch it? Then I intentionally killed somebody. He came back in. I've been waiting on him. Somebody told me he was coming up through here. I've been waiting on him. He came up here, and as a matter of fact, somebody asked you, did you get, man, I killed him. I sure did. I killed him. You go before the leaders. I go before the leaders and tell them I killed him. You see how crazy that is? But watch this. But you say, wait a minute. But now, what is it? Eye for an eye. You heard that right? Eye for an eye. You heard that right? Then why isn't that an eye for an eye? Because, what do you mean? Because the person was already declared innocent. Hear me now. Was already declared innocent. Don't he have a family? Don't he have a family? Then that family can come after you. Stop and think about it. Wait a minute. My cousin accidentally killed your folk. Accidentally. But my cousin snuck back in here, and then you killed my cousin. We call that a gang war. Because what we call that. We call that now the blood and the Crips is what we call that. Because you came back in, now you killed mine. Yeah, but he wasn't no good. But you killed mine. You got to go. Yes.
So could that be like, because your cousin killed one of my family members.
Go ahead.
So in turn, I got mad and killed your cousin.
I don't know, but
you might get mad, like decide to want to take me out. So I mean, when does it end?
That's when it ends. When did it end? Look at your text. When did it end? Huh? Look at it. It was in 26? When did it end?
When the avenger kills the manslayer, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Goes outside the limits.
What was the crime? What was the disobedience?
Going outside.
He went outside. That's his fault. Or her fault. You broke boundaries. You were okay. We gave you a safe haven, God's grace. I gave you a place for you to remain. You just got to remain there for the rest of your life. Let me drop this one on you. Here's a good one. Marriage. I committed adultery. Time marches on. When they didn't marry somebody, she gone about her business. I'm sad and lonely. I marry somebody. Is there anything wrong with it? What's wrong with it? What'd you say? Because I can't. So what do? Boundaries. I cross God's boundaries. And what did I say? Well, I need to justify this. God knows I have needs. God knows He knows that I have desires. So I say I got to justify this. And so how do I justify it? I said, because God would not want me to be miserable. God sure would not want you to be miserable. And He, watch this, and He fixed it where you wouldn't be miserable. He gave you a wife. Hear me? You didn't want that wife no more. So now what you want to do is go get you another wife. You can't. Because she can't be called a wife. She can't be called a wife because you have a wife. So she can't be called a wife. So she's either a concubine. Let's make the rubber touch the road. She's a hoe. Okay, let's make the rubber touch the road. That's what she is. She's not a hoe. And but you tell everybody else, yeah, this is my girl, and then you marry her. What is 1 Corinthians 6 chapter? Certainly opens your eyes on that one, because it says, if you're with in this case, in 1 Corinthians 6 chapter, it says something else. It says, if you're with a prostitute, then you what? Then the two of you all become one. You hear me? So, same way in your 19th chapter of Matthew, 10 on down. He says that if she marries another, or if you marry another, they too shall become one. They too shall become what? What are you? Go to Matthew 19, 10. I mean, what are you?
Matthew 10.
19. 10. Let them get it. I don't care. You can read it if you want.
10, 19.
No, I just told you 19.
No.
You said right. 19. You got it, Vivian? 19:10 says what?
His disciples said to him.
19:10?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm sorry, 9. 19:9.
And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and marries another, commits adultery. And however marries,
And whoever.
marries her, who is divorced, commits adultery.
So then, your 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, says the same thing Jesus said in Matthew, the 19th chapter. If she's guess what? If you are an adultery and you marry her, what does that make her? An adulteress. If she's a prostitute and you turn around and marry her, what did that make her? Yes, because you won. You can't get around it. How about this one? I used to see this all the time. We used to laugh about it. You're going to go out on the street and find your wife. And then you get upset because she won't do right. What's the old saying? You can't make a hoe a housewife. You can forget it. It ain't going to happen. Why? Because she is who she is. It ain't going to happen. And so I'm going to change her. You can't change her. And she can't change you. And it's the same way with an adulteress. You can't change him. So what do you have? The same old miserable situation. You got a mess on your hands. You can't get around it. So then, getting back to where we were, here's this person who has snuck out of camp. He snuck out of refuge. And I don't care if it was to go get a pair of socks. On his way back, he met one of the family members. And the family member is still boiling. Even though they know it was an accident. But they're still boiling. And they kill you. He's not guilty. Yes.
Is it the loneliness of being in refuge? Or, I mean, what goes on in the refuge? Is it something that, because of the closeness of family, they're lonely, so they...
You got it. So that's what I said. We don't have this. This has went away so badly. Families busting up. Families, daughters. Jesus told you it was going to happen. That daughters would hate their mothers and sons would hate their fathers. He told you this is going to happen. Well, we're in that age where it has happened. Where daughters get all upset with you, bent out of shape. Where sons get all upset with you, bent out of shape. He said this is going to happen. We're in it. So now we've got a situation here. The gentleman that went to go get his, I said a pair of socks. What was wrong? That going to get his socks is what killed him. Going to go, I saw 50 cents on the ground, but it was outside the camp. So I go get the 50 cents. That'd be too late, bro. I'm going to get mine. Go get it.
But there's getting stuff there where he's at, right? I mean, I'm saying, is it because nothing's there, or is it... I mean, like you said, there's food and stuff there, right?
Yes. His, whatever he needs to live is there.
Right. It's better than death.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but you gotta look at it. If you're so used to being carefree,
Go ahead.
doing as you desire, and now that's been taken away. You see? And that's what it is. It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, family was family, man. Everybody was united. Tightly united. Not like we are today. I got family stay right across the street, and they ain't talked to them about 2 or 3 years now. And they live right across the street. Yes.
What if you stick your big toe
Uh-oh.
outside the city limits? Or what if somebody sneeze, that's when they push you, like achoo, and you're outside the city limits?
You know what did you say? What did you say? That was the word. Kachu. It is a kachu. But that kachu comes.
Got you. Oh, man.
Yeah, that kachu becomes a got you. I've been waiting on you to cross over. And I am not guilty. Hold on. Not in the eyes of the congregation, but not in the eyes of that other family, because that other family wants me. In the eyes of God. Did you hear me? In the eyes of God. I now walk away. Yep, I sure did. I killed your cousin. I don't have to worry about him no more. I took him out. And the courts have said, what I've done is I am perfectly legal. I do not need to go to the city of refuge. I don't need to go there. I can stay home. You see that? That's why I want you to see. I can actually stay home now. That's why it says, listen to murder. Because we've gotten it twisted. We'd rather put them up for 30 years, what is it, life in prison. Why? Right, because they get paid. The state pays for that person sitting in there. So the state then has crossed its boundaries with God. So what that means is the individual that takes on these politicians, that take on that leadership, if you're not going in to correct that leadership, And you got to talk to God. You got to talk to God why you allow this to continue to keep going. Because now that's on your head. Nobody made you the chief of the police station, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Nobody made you governor. Nobody told you to do this. You chose this. And why did you choose such a hierarchy position? Greed. You know what kind of pay is behind that. So that's why you didn't take it because you wanted to be a great leader. You took it behind how much revenue you could get. I don't know how that works with our government, with our governors. I know how it works with the president. I don't know how it works with the governor. I don't know if they still, after they come out of office, if they have a pension, if they get paid. I'm sure they do. But I don't know how that works. So can you imagine now I'm getting paid for the rest of my life? Stop and think about it. Teresa, you're in the school district. When you retire, your medical is taken care of for the rest of your life. Stop and think about it. So can you imagine someone in a much more hierarchy position, what they're having to get by with? So then watch this. I want to go on. He said, so then we saw he's not guilty. So then watch this. Your Bible made it clear as a bell in verse 28. Look at verse 28. Made it clear as a bell. It says what?
Because he should have remained.
Because what? Because what?
He should have remained.
You see what I'm saying? You see it?
Yeah.
That's why the other person's not guilty, because he stepped out. Anytime we become disobedient to God, we're out there and Satan can have fun with you. Satan can take you completely from the church. Your Ephesians 6:12 on down talks about how we're to have the full armor of God on. Don't you ever remove any of that armor. Because the minute you do, guess who knows you removed it? Satan. And he is coming full blast to go get you. I said, I think it was, even today I said, you know, I was something, but I tasted some loneliness. I said, you're trying to do your thing. It ain't gonna work, Satan. I got things to do. But you know what I'm saying? But recognize this is his work. Now he says, he's idle. This is the time to come. He's idle. This is the time to come. And I don't want to be recognized, and he knows that I'm there, but I spotted. I said, let me get back to work. I know what this is. I've got some idle time that I don't need. So let me get back in so this will completely go away. And sure enough, it walked away. But I wanted you to see this because you see how serious this is? That's why everybody should have been in here today for this murder. So you understand. Let me try this. How many folks are against capital punishment? Let me try that.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Only because our system is so corrupt.
Okay.
They would just be killing a lot of innocent people.
Kill them all.
Now watch this. You should never be against capital punishment. Hold on. Because I'm 100% with you. But what'd you say? You got it. Because when it's murder, it's murder. I'm 100% capital punishment. Now watch this, because I know what he's going to talk about when he speaks of what is considered capital punishment. Watch our text. Let's read some more. I want you to see this. Read some more. He says what?
Because he should have remained in the city of his refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the slayer shall return into the land of his possession. So
he has a time when he can come back. He chose not to wait for that time for him to come back. He decided to do things his or her way. And in doing things his or her way, here's your results. They're dead. There's the results. Stop and think about it. When we do things our way and don't do what God has asked of us to do, it may look like it's God's will, but it's not. It's yours. It's yours. That individual that crossed over, I'm sure he didn't think too much of it. He came over. Everybody's happy. Yeah, right, man, good to see you. But it cost him his life because he decided to do it his way. And it's the same with us. When we want to do things our way, then look what God has to do. When you want to do things your way, look what God has to do. Do it. That's what God has to do. He moves out of the way. Remember, He's not going to force you to do anything. That's what you want to do. It's your will. Go ahead. Not, I know what the end, God knows what the end results will be, but you won't do it. Go ahead. I watch this. And a lot of us say, I pray nothing happens. And give a good example. I said, my son, my own son, wants to do a lot of things his way. So let me back off. And I told him many times, ain't no need calling me late at night and telling me you in jail. Don't waste your time. Because I ain't coming and I ain't putting one red cent to get you out. Huh? Because you did it your way. So since you did it your way, then now you got to figure out how to get yourself out of that situation your way. Because I ain't paying no bail bondsman. And I found out, I didn't even know this. It hadn't been brought to my attention. I thought if the bond was $7,500, I thought then you pay what, $1,700 or what is it? I mean,
$750.
$750. I thought you paid $750. That was it. I didn't know that you got to pay that $2,700 or whatever. I didn't know that. I didn't know you still got to pay whatever it was that you're still liable to pay that. Even if that person if that person is wrong, you sure enough got to pay it. And if that person is right, you still got to pay it. I didn't know that. Yes. Oh yeah, I'm talking about no, but I'm saying being the person that was you didn't make the phone call telling me to come get you out. No. I ain't gonna get no credit card bill. Not off you. No, that's on you. You chose to do it, live with it. Sit in that jail and rock. That's what my mama used to tell me. You do it, rock. You sit in that jail and rock. You better think twice before you do something stupid.
I have brothers like that, that's why.
Okay, but for me, that was free. I did not know that until it was just recently brought to my attention that you still have to pay that. So ain't no way in the world I'm gonna do it. I said, no, I got other things. I got enough of my own bills. And before you decide to make a new one. That ain't happening. So watch this. I want you to, we're gonna travel some more. I says, so we got 29 says what?
These things shall be for us statutory ordinance to you throughout your generation in all of your dwellings.
So watch this. Moses has been telling them, this is what God has said. This is your ordinances. I've laid down the law. This is it. Now you know. So watch this. Tiffany, give me back to the next verse, 30.
If anyone kills a person, the murderer shall be put to death at the evidence of witnesses, but no person shall be put to death on the testimony of one witness.
That's where I'm at. That's where, remember I was talking about capital punishment? So the capital punishment ain't based upon because I'm mad and I've been wanting Jamal to put the electric chair on him. No. It means there needs to be witnesses. Not one person. Now, what does that mean? That means it really needs to be proven. That's what that really means. It really needs to be proven. You can't be going by what, well, yeah, I thought I heard, yeah, I thought I did hear over in the bushes and it was, no. Did you see it? If you didn't see it, you can't, see? So the capital punishment, that's why I said that, that's why I made this statement, I stick with it. Because the capital punishment is built upon witnesses. A witness is someone that actually saw it. So now that you saw it, then there's no, I can't fuss and fight against it. So somebody will say, but what if Warren was lying? It says witnesses. It didn't say one person. So it's more than one person that has identified that this person, yes, they did kill him. And I agree with you, there's so many situations we see in prison, so many young men have died and they didn't even commit a crime. So many. So that's the other side of that coin that you talked about, that I agree with you. But like I said, if we had stuck with capital punishment, what God's law said, the problem is we won't stick to God's law, because God's law says, Dwayne, you get 20 years. It says, Mr. Celebrity, you get 14 days.
Right.
But you heard him saying?
Money.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? That's the, see how the law works? That's why I said it is so crooked. You're right, it is so hard to say capital punishment when you're right, it is too crooked what's going on. So that's why I said I'm with you.
Right. Somebody like Jeffrey Dahmer, where you find the bodies and just, how
Right.
heads in the refrigerator, that's
Yes.
definitely should be put to death.
Right.
Nothing to talk about. But Andy should have been living as long as he lived. You see what I'm saying? But watch this. But someone said, well, he made this confession of the Church of Christ. So I'm like, I don't care if he did or didn't. The bottom line is he probably watches, and when he did it right, he couldn't have made no confession. And when he did it according to the law, he'd have been dead. But you see how Satan works on our sympathy? We gotta have compassion. We gotta have grace. God's giving them grace. God's giving us grace to know and still do what you do. So I'm saying, no, that's wrong. Someone would say, what's the famous word we always use when we catch them and then now that they're getting ready to be sentenced, what do we always use?
Insanity.
You did an I.
I said I am.
You said
You said in.
Oh, I said
That's right. I was like, what?
I'm sorry.
I thought you was saying
So we got insanity. They holler in a minute. Everybody. Insanity. He was insanity. Tiger Wood. You were caught with all those women. Well, I've got a sickness. Yeah, it's a disease. Okay. I had the biggest debate with Danielle when she was here. And me and her had the biggest debate. And she said, no, you don't understand. It is, what did she say? It is the sickness. It is a disease. I said, an addiction. She said, it is an addiction. I said, then let me take Tiger down to Skid Row. Did you hear me? It's an addiction. Well, let me take it down to Skid Row. I said, there's plenty of them down there and they ain't got nothing on them. Let me take you down there to Skid Row. It's a sickness, right? It's an addiction, right?
Addiction is gone.
I'm cured.
Come on. We just say, hallelujah. I'm cured. I'm cured. but you see what I'm saying? And that's what I hit her with. She's like, well, I never looked at it. I said, don't you understand, sister? I said, don't you understand, sister? A junkie don't care where he get that needle from. As long as he get that needle. He gotta get that fixed. I said, then he dead tomorrow. But he gotta get that fixed. I said, so all this sex addiction, I said, there ain't no addiction. I said, let me run him down to Skid Row. If it's such an addiction. I said, all of a sudden, like y'all said, hey, I'm cured. Right. I said, it stops in a heartbeat. So it would stop a lot of this insanity. Don't you understand? If I knew I did something and it's been proven I did it, and I know that I'm going to get killed, and I'm your cousin, that's all you doing? Because it's been fun. Well, what you, man, I ain't never going to do that. You hear me? You back off. This is what's going on. So watch this. Let's look at another one. 29, we were 30. 31 says what?
Moreover, you shall not take ransom for the life of a murderer who is guilty of death, for he shall surely be put to death.
Lord have mercy. We ended 31 and we'll start off the next. Did you see what, Tiffany, that you just got your answer? That's the 14 days.